Do you still not know if you're eligible to participate in the Fulbright Foreign Language Teaching Assistant Program? Don't worry, I'm here and we're gonna go through the requirements together. Hi everyone, my name is Gizem and welcome to my channel. I talked about Fulbright Flta program application in my previous video, and today at first I'm going to talk about the requirements for you to be able to make sure that you're eligible to participate in the program. Then I'm going to talk about finding accommodation in the US before you arrive at your host institution and the responsibilities as a Fulbright FLTA. So keep watching. Okay, so let's talk about the application requirements. Like I said before, the requirements may vary by country. Being a citizen of your country is a must. You cannot hold a green card or anything. You cannot have a US citizenship. So this is the first requirement. And applicants must have an English language teaching diploma. Applicants should not have more than 7 years of teaching experience. And of course, good knowledge of English is required. And to certify this, you need to take an English proficiency test like TOEFL or IELTS. For TOEFL IBT test, at least a score of 79 is required. For IELTS, the score should be at least 6. And since you're going to teach your native language, you should have a sincere interest in teaching your native language and culture to your students in the US. You should also be adaptable to live in urban or rural areas. You can always check Fulbright's website to see the requirements in a written form, so if you have any questions, you can, look at them again and just make sure that you're eligible to participate in the program. Let's go over the requirements one more time so we know that we're not missing anything. You need to reside in the country of nomination at the time of application. That's the first thing. You need to be in your country while you're applying for the program. And you need to possess a bachelor's degree. You should be an early career teacher of English or training to become a teacher of English. However, prior teaching experience is preferred. Like I said earlier, you should have a sincere interest in teaching your language and your culture to your students in the US. That's one of the most important things. You should be fluent in English and you should certify that with one of the English proficiency tests, TOEFL or IELTS. You should be adaptable to live in rural or urban areas because it might be different than the area that you live in your home country, so you should be adaptable. So if I need to give an example, I live in a big city in Turkey, but the place that I went to in the US was a small college town, which I loved. So you should be open-minded and adaptable. Just try to enjoy your time there. You should be flexible and you should have a willingness to learn because there are tons of things that you're going to learn from your students from living in the US. And you should clearly be reliable, honest, responsible, and professional. We can talk about finding accommodation in the US now. Okay, so you don't want to worry about housing and you want to make sure that you have a place to live before you arrive at your host institution in the US, right? It was the case for me at least. Let's talk about the things that we need to consider while trying to find accommodation in the US. I'll tell you how I found accommodation. Was it easy? Not really. It wasn't the easiest thing that I've done. But with the tips that I'm about to give you, it's going to be way easier for you. After finding out where I was going to live, the first thing I did was look at the map of the city. And I focused on the area that's around campus because I wanted to make sure that I was going to be close to campus. Then I started looking at places to rent on apartments.com and Zillow.com. I also checked the websites of the apartment complexes that I found on Google, and I just wanted to make sure that I had options. Good options. It's probably going to sound funny to you, but I also walked on the streets virtually with the help of Google Earth. Because it was so important to me to make myself familiar with the area. So I listed the things that I wanted in my apartment. Well, Some people rented rooms, but I didn't want to rent a room. I just wanted to rent an apartment. I wanted a place to myself. So I didn't even waste time looking at them. If you don't know that already, in the US, most of the apartments have the most used kitchen appliances like an oven, a dishwasher, a fridge, a stove, and a microwave. So that's a great thing, believe me. I also wanted a washer and a dryer in my apartment because I wanted to be able to do laundry in my apartment, not outside. So I simply used filters on the websites to see my options, and then I started emailing them. And I also asked them if they offer 10-month leases, because that's the amount of time that you're going to be in the US with this program if you use the grace period. I used the grace period, so I was in the US for 10 months. So I just wanted to make sure that I was going to pay rent for 10 months, not any longer than that. To be honest, it was so frustrating because most of them offered 12-month leases. But after sending a ton of emails to different leasing offices, I finally found an apartment that I could rent. Okay, so you secured your housing before you arrive at your host institution, and now it's time to talk about your teaching assistant duties. As a Fulbright FLTA, you are required to engage in assistant teaching for a maximum of 20 hours per week. When we look at this page, we're going to see that we have different types of duties, such as preparation, material development, grading, language club, office hours. So these are all different things that we need to do as a Fulbright FLTA. So on the left, you can see the duties, and on the right, you can see the amount of hours. When it comes to duties, it can change from university to university. And because of COVID, some programs are still online. So in the previous academic year, the course that I taught was hybrid. I had participation meetings with my students every week, and some of my students wanted to have them in person, and some of them wanted to have Zoom meetings. So it was hybrid. So according to my terms of appointment, I needed to have 3 hours of office hours every week. We scheduled the days and the times that I was going to be at my office for my office hours with my supervisor, and that information took place on the syllabus. So every week you need to schedule 1 hour of language table. And what is a language table or a language club? So the main goal of the language tables is that your students or other people, other students, even professors that are interested in your native language can hear you speak your language. And it's a great opportunity for your students and other people that are interested in your native language to practice your native language with you. What do you do when you have your language table? You can bring snacks or coffee or tea, whatever is in your culture, and you can just have conversations and have a great language table. My language table was the best, and I enjoyed every second of it. The 1 hour language table that I had every week was in person. It was on campus, and you just need to talk to your supervisor and just arrange a room for that. Or you can have your language table somewhere else on campus. There's another thing that I want to talk about, which is coursework, because you are required to enroll in 2 courses per semester or 1 per quarter. The courses must relate to your professional development as a language teacher, and one of them should be about the American culture. So as you can see on this page, it says audit. It can be different for you because it changes from university to university again. So for some of my fellow FLTAs, it was credit, and for some other, it was audit like mine. But even when you audit the courses that you take, you need to attend the classes. Some professors might want you to take the exams and write the papers that the other students write and do all the other coursework, but some may just say, you attend my course and that's it. I believe I covered every aspect of the requirements. accommodation, and responsibilities as a Fulbright FLTA. But if you have any questions, please comment below so I can see your questions and answer them. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get notified when I upload the next videos. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye!